Okay, so you have waited long enough for part two with Jay. Pew, 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 pew. So please enjoy this podcast with my sweet, sweet, dear friend. We cuss a lot though, bro. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of F bombs, S bombs, P bomb. I don't think there's any. I don't know if we say any P bombs. But anyways, welcome to From the Pitch to Purpose, and you are going to listen to Jaye Leigh official and me, Samantha Brand, your host, otherwise known as Sammy B. So please enjoy. So I came home within 3 days of hearing. Like, I was like, oh, my dad's sick, and I left an apartment, a car, like, I left it all and was like, this can't happen again. Like, I'm not going to be in Sweden when my dad passed away. I did not leave his side until he was gone, you know. But, like, I think that the thing about shame, though, is it's not ours. It's not ours to hold. And it's just like, it's something that we take on, and a lot of it, if we really get down to the bottom of it, it's like, hey, that's not even how I feel about it. That's how people are telling me I should feel. That's how people think I should feel. But when it comes down to it, like, yeah, my mom and I, we need each other right now. That's
Yeah,
okay. The types of jobs I'm doing pay my bills. It's okay.
right.
And I think that, like, I don't know. It's one of those crazy feelings all the time where I'm just like trying to sift through everybody else's bullshit so I can really see, like, hey, who am I?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like, what do I really want? Because I don't know that I have had those conversations with myself. Like, what do
Yeah.
I truly want? You
I
know?
found I found myself in a place probably around during the pandemic again. I obviously this was just a lot of insightful times for me, but where I finally decided that I needed to stop being so focused on what the end goal was and let myself realize that I thrive on change and I'm probably never going to be doing the same thing for X amount of time. And so for me to sit here and let these certain things be so heavy on me and trying to make them work so fucking hard when I probably wouldn't even do that longer than or you can come back to it because you thrive on change. Maybe you'll want to come back to this if it's not working right now, you know. But I decided to define myself in this, no, you thrive on change. And now I've let myself have that. And it's made things so much easier for me in terms of decision making and not being so wrapped up in the finality of things that aren't that deep. Like,
That's
you know,
crazy. It's crazy to hear you explain me like that. Because, like, it's crazy.
yeah,
I say
dude.
that because literally, like, I loved my job as a professional soccer player because I legit changed location, groups every 6 months. I used to say that my life felt like if the world really was flat and I'm just running towards the edge and it's just gonna there's nothing after it, you know? There's just
Yeah.
like an abyss. Because I never knew what I was gonna be doing in the next 6 months. I just knew I was signing a 6 month contract. That I would be living in Sweden for 6 months. I would be living in Iceland for all those places. Amazing. But I was very seasonal. And that actually created a lot of, like, seasonal friendships. That created a lot of seasonal versions of myself, seasonal expectations of myself. Like, I knew for 6 months my body was not mine. It was whoever teams I signed it off to. And after
Yeah.
that 6 months, I'm gonna eat all the pizza I want. But it was very seasonal. And
Yeah.
I did not until you said that sentence that you thrive on change, I would have never thought that that's what this is.
Mm.
Because, like,
Yeah.
right now, I this is the most planted I've been in
Yeah.
years.
And there's another aspect to it too that you have to make sure you add in though. And that's okay. I thrive on change and that is okay. And
Mm.
giving yourself the permission to just always switch it up because it's like when we get so set in stone that like, well, no, this is how, my nutrition works for me, or these are the kind of workouts that support me in the way that I need. And now all of a sudden you've plateaued and you're like, this ain't doing shit for me anymore. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then finally something goes off in your head where you're like, I need to switch it up. And
Yeah.
it's really not that hard to you know what I mean? And that's everything in life. Everything.
But we don't give ourselves that. I think that,
I
like,
know.
even my situation right now, like, I'm like, okay, I need a solid job. I need a solid this, a solid
Yeah.
that.
And that's true because it's a lot less stressful. Like
Yeah.
I know on the 9th and 24th, I'm going to get this paycheck. That's so much less stressful bill wise, right? But for me, I'm okay with getting as much as I need right now in this season, and that's okay. But like people keep saying, but what are you going to do? But what are you going to do? But what are you going to do? Like where are you headed? And I think that like so many of the people I'm close to, let's take my sister for instance. My sister Daphne is right now, she's a GM of Red Robin. She's freaking like amazing at her job. Very corporate minded, right? But she has the voice of an angel. Like her voice is insane. And my mom was talking to me about this the other day, and she was like, well, if teaching, let's say that teaching is the thing you want to do in life, you want to work with kids, you want to teach or whatever. I don't want you to go and just get any plain old job because you're going to get stuck on that job. That happened to Daphne. And so she wanted to get the job at the restaurant to support her music career and never went back to her music career. And that's like a big reason why I'm still here. My mom keeps saying, well, don't go and like, spend all this and do that because you'll never get to your dream.
Right.
But I think that I'm probably one of the only people in my family whose dream consistently changes, but I follow through with it. And I think I had a real conversation with my mom. I was like, I am one for one. Professional. I want to be this. I was this successfully. Like I'm one for one. Like why don't you trust me when I want to go down this path? Like I kept my word, and not just that, I'm stronger than I was before. I have more connections than I did before.
Yeah.
And like I am and I have a tiny little version of me who will keep me motivated to do it.
And also like if your passions and the way that you're driven changes, it's okay to not see something all the way through if you start, getting heart eyes for something else. And then you want to start going in that, as long as you're not just becoming a bump on a log and not doing shit, and you're just, keeping yourself fulfilled. I don't know how cliche that sounds, but like if you don't love this anymore, and it's not because you feel like it's too hard, but it's because you really don't care to continue, that's okay.
It's just people don't.
And you tried though, like you explored it and it wasn't for you.
And that's been my whole year, buffet season. Like I've gone down multiple paths. And I think the only thing that hurts me is my wallet. It's like, oh, I spent a lot of money on that path and then I'm not doing it. And that's the only thing.
You have to invest in yourself to know. Ain't nothing free, bro. We all know it. Yeah. And you're not going to know if you don't at least test it out. But you know what? You paid, and at some point you learned something that you're now carrying with you forever, and you paid for that, and you deserve that piece of education.
Yeah. And what's crazy is like I've been really holding on to this sewing like business, and I've been like, oh, I just want to keep doing it. And people have been asking me to sew things, and I'm like fitting it in and here and there. And I think part of it is like the whole brand family doesn't quit. Like we don't do that, we see it through. And also I didn't want people to be like, oh, she started this and then she's not doing it, or all those things. But in reality, like if I never sew as a business again, it's okay because dude, I can make my own fucking clothes now. Yeah. I can make my daughter her clothes now.
Right.
Like, and that sustained me for over a year and a half. Like that business was successful. And it's just not right now.
And you still profit in a way because like if you choose to do that, I'm sure there's some sort of like release of the mind when you're sewing. It's probably therapeutic or cathartic or whatever they say. And then also you're saving money by making your own shit. So therefore you're still profiting.
Saving money, profiting. And honestly, like, so I don't listen to shit. Like I don't listen to music. I don't watch TV when I sew. I'll sew things inside out and backwards if I do it. Like it's too much for my brain. I literally just sew. So in a grief mind and in a mind that was just worried all the time, to have to focus on something so intricate and small. Yeah. It got me through a whole year. Like it got me through things. And not just that, like, yeah. And my daughter now is like, my mommy made this. And I'm like, you go, girl. You tell everybody, But yeah, and I think you're totally right. And I think that like, I also think that we don't necessarily celebrate those little wins as wins if we quit. Like if we don't do it anymore, we're just like, oh yeah, that's what I used to do. And it's like, that door is closed and we're like, oh, like it never happened. But in reality, it's like, no, I can bring that win with me and I can continue to use that win if I want, like you said, if I want to escape and get away, I can mentally do that and sew and everything.
Right.
But I want to, like, I need to hear from you. What then do you feel is your biggest accomplishment that you will always be proud of, that you will be like, this is the thing that I want to have written down as my legacy?
I think that I want to just have some kind of, and if I could put it in the most concise way, it's that I accepted myself fully for all that change, all that changing my mind, all that, I did these things as a late teen and young adult, and that doesn't define me. And I'm finding ways to let that go, but I'm also finding ways to like let that be a part of my story that drives the person who I am now and continuing to be. So in short, someone who and I want to make it my own when I say it too, and I don't want to just raw, just real, and empowered others of all genders, races, ages, to be able to do the same and not have shame around the whole story. And I feel like that's where I am right now, and coming into that so hard and trying to literally like build an entire brand off of it. Not trying, bro. I'm fucking doing, by the way.
You're
I didn't
doing
mean to say it like that.
Right, as we say, as we do. Yep, yep, yep.
But yeah, just empowering others to shamelessly get after what the fuck they want with no reservations because of what was.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. And that's what I'm continuing to do. And this is I'm just getting my feet wet. Like, I'm about to pop off on TikTok any fucking day now.
Yeah,
you know
you are.
I'm about to just, like that. But that's it. The empowerment to know that it can be yours, whatever that means for you. And it could be like, people think it has to be these huge, when I say, so I always try to make sure that I'm providing like the smallest of examples to the most vast of examples, so that everyone can understand that it's not going to look the same for anyone. And that's why it's so hard to put in words, honestly. So I hope it's making sense when I say it.
Yeah, it is. And I think like,
Yeah.
I was on the call the other day and I was like, someone was talking about the little things and like things like that. And I was like, sometimes brushing my teeth feels like Mount Everest. Sometimes like literally doing normal human shit,
Yeah.
putting a morsel of food into my mouth before 1 p.m. sometimes feels like Mount Everest. So me celebrating that I brush my teeth is big.
Yeah.
Like me celebrating that I literally made my bed, or that like I ate at the same time as my child. Like those accomplishments are things that like over most people's head, but for me,
Yeah.
I'm celebrating them, as well as, I actually don't celebrate the big ones as much. Like I just published a fucking book and I barely celebrated. You know what I'm saying? But brushing my teeth, I'm like, yeah, baby.
Write a book about brushing your teeth.
Oh my gosh. Then I'll actually celebrate it. I'm like, baby goes up and down. And that's a dance. It's gonna be a whole thing. I actually need to tell you something.
Okay.
So obviously, like, we see tidbits of your life, right? But I want to tell you a tidbit that really, really touched me. You lost your mom, right? And obviously I've dealt with grief. Boom. Watching how you've been navigating this publicly has touched me to my core, because for a long time I felt I couldn't share when I was sad and share when I'm happy. I could only do one or the other. And literally watching you, and I'm not saying like it happened before, I'm saying from the moment you have been showing your hard and your good, like slide after slide, I have been able to let myself feel both.
Yeah.
I need you to know you had that impact on me.
Thanks, dude.
I'm not gonna cry.
I think that I'm not gonna cry.
I'm not gonna cry.
I think that I can't show up any other way than exactly how I'm actually feeling it and getting through. And part of me is just like, sometimes like, I've seen other people lose people so close, and they're like, I couldn't do, I've read books and they're like, I didn't even leave dark rooms for these many weeks or months, or, I lost this much weight and, all these things. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I not? And then I'm like, because then I cry myself to sleep, or like the littlest, smallest thing, like the sky being beautiful, and me just thinking, oh, like, that's my mom. And then I get into this deep thought process of how, no, it's not, because she's even further out than this. So that doesn't even make sense, really. Like, there's just so many things happening at one time. So I can't not be this ever changing ball of whatever's happening in that moment, I guess. And I just so happen to have it right here, which is crazy, but this is just where I was reading it last. But I don't know if you've read this. It's Okay Not to Be Okay by Megan Devine. Dude, you need to have it. Apparently there's a workbook with it too. I recommended it to this lady on the crisis line the other day who lost like 27 people who were extremely close to her in the last like 3 years.
Nope.
That was probably one of the most, but you know what? She and I just like hit it off. You can only share so much about yourself in terms of like self-disclosure, or else people start to try to break boundaries. It gets all weird. They want you to follow them on Instagram and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you don't even know my real name, bro.
Yeah.
But like, I told her about the book. I've actually been using it as a resource because I'm so obsessed with the way that she is just, when I first read the whatever on the front, it says meeting grief and loss in a culture that doesn't understand. And I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, so many people are experiencing grief now. I live in Waterford, Michigan, right? I'm from Waterford, Michigan. I'm in Pontiac, Michigan now, but Waterford is like heroin hometown, bro. Half my class overdosed and died. So I'm like, doesn't understand. What the fuck are you talking about? But now I'm reading it, and the way she's taught, like, even if somebody hasn't yet, because as you and I both know, and she even explains this, if you've experienced love, you will experience loss. Inevitably, you will. Very close to you. It will happen. And everyone will go through this. Everyone. Until we are the ones that die, and that's the person going through it. But she talks about every facet of the different emotions and feelings, and it being okay to be on the way somewhere where you need to show up fully, and it not being the time for you to lose your shit, and how to get through those moments without beating yourself up later on. Oh, I didn't let myself feel my feelings in that moment. No, you just said to yourself, no, I'm trying to show up in this way right now, and now it's just not the time. Let's wait till the drive home and I'll fucking lose my shit and put on the saddest song ever. And
Yeah. No, but I think that like I think a part of it was like, am I literally allowed to be happy? Like, I just lost this person, like, but I'm laughing at this thing, and then I'm like, oh, but everyone thinks I'm supposed to be sad. But and you know me, I'm crazy, I'm happy, I'm this, and this is like the Sam that people knew when my husband died, and so seeing me sad was literally like earth shattering for some of my friends.
Yeah.
Because I only wrote my sadness. I very rarely expressed it. And if I was, I could express anger and intensity and those kinds of things on the soccer field. But most people, like my team in Sweden, we had this day where we wrote like strengths of everyone, and one of the reoccurring thing was happy, 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 Sam, always happy, happy player, happy this, and it's like, then I went through something that was so devastatingly, disgustingly unhappy. Right. That I'm like, if I show up as the other person, first off, I'll feel a responsibility to show up that way again for them, and I might not feel like that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think that actually kept me away from showing any good on my feed or anything for a long time, because I'm like, they're going to think I'm over it or through it. And I'll have a responsibility again to be happy, happy, happy.
Right.
And the other thing was like, I truly didn't want to open the floodgates of how I really felt, because if I got happy again, I'd have to maintain that for me. And that sucks.
Yeah. I think I've been at for a little minute, and I used to describe it as selfish, like selfishly okay with letting myself be put first so that I can then pour into the cups of everyone else and all this shit. But that's like, it's not that. It's just like being okay with like, this is how I truly feel in this moment, and I'm not going to gas it up in a different way to make you comfortable. Never have been like that. Never will be like that. And so you know, there's some, and then again, the book talks about it, but she hits I'm not even done with it yet. I'm like 3/4 of the way through it, and she's hit like every point that I've come to already so far. And it's like, you know, the people that like will ask you like, but how are you really doing? And you know, their intention is good, but also they're not really somebody that you fuck with on that level to let a bitch know how you really doing. So like, it's almost like irritating that that person would even ask you, because you're like, dude, when in the fuck did I ever let you think that you would be? And then all of a sudden you're like a bitch in your mind, and you're like, am
Yeah.
I fucked up for this? Like, am I giving a
Yeah.
fucked up energy when they really are just trying to care about me? But it's like, no, they've just been conditioned to say shit like that so that you're not thinking, oh, I don't really care, you know. So I'm truly asking, like, no, how are you doing? Because, you know, that's what society's trying to tell us now to do for each other, to really, you
Connect.
know. So you have to, and there's a whole, you know, people are not experts in this. And again, everybody's intentions are good, but the way you respond to those things is fine if you just keep it very, you know, every day's different.
Yeah, which was
Now
your
I'm gonna go get my
which
spot
when
because we're
I
at a
when
turn
I
up class.
which when I came at you in your DMs, you were like, I'm good. I'm like, no, but girl.
No,
But
but it's different too when someone truly gets it. And I may answer in short sometimes for certain things, but that's just my own. I'm not in a space to, so like when you ask me, it's not because I didn't know that I didn't really think I could lean on you
oh
like that.
no,
I
yeah.
just wasn't in a space to, or like, but then there's other people that, you know, I will, and I'm not rude, I'm not unkind, but I'm just, and I almost always know that I answer in a way that's like, the person can read like, ooh, I'm never gonna ask her that again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny. That is where that poem came from. Grief porn, the one I read at conference, is like someone asked me at the most inopportune moment.
Yes, I
And
remember
I'm
the
like,
poem, and I,
yeah, and I'm like, bro, right now? Like you want me to tell you some deep, dark shit just right now? And
yeah,
I think that it was one of those things where I hadn't felt anger towards someone else asking me if I was ever like if I was okay or what happened.
yeah,
Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's a new
dude, you got to
thing
read
when
this
you're like,
book.
yeah, I'm gonna.
You're
No,
gonna
I'm
love
gonna.
it.
No, it does like feel like that sometimes. And I think that like I've gotten a lot better at it like lately or whatever. Actually, I
Yeah,
checked my mom because my mom was talking to someone who's someone passed away or something like that, and she goes, and I asked what happened or whatever, and I was like, Mom, why did you ask that? And she was like,
yeah,
oh, and that's my mom. Like I checked hard, and I was like, yeah.
right.
And she goes, you know, the second it came out of my, and she only knows, she's only saying this because I brought it to her attention. But the second it came out of her mouth, she goes, yeah, I felt uncomfortable, you know,
Mhm.
because
But also she knows too. Like y'all have
she
both
knows.
lost your partner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she knows that you don't want to sit there and read my, and I think that like I've become so much more aware of how to interact with people
Mhm.
and like I said this in a post yesterday that like everybody's freaking grieving something. And I
Yeah.
think that like being sensitive to loss and being sensitive to interacting with people on a real level is great, but
Mhm.
also like be sensitive to when you ask someone shit. Be
Yeah.
sensitive to like how you ask and what you're asking.
And also like really take a step back before you ask a certain question. Like, let's just say I knew something extremely fucked up happened to you in some capacity. And you and I walked into a dance fitness class, and you know, I just walk up to you. My greeting to you is probably going to be maybe a little bit longer of a hug than I would normally give to you, and like pat your back and then go back to my spot. Maybe interact with you a little bit more in the class just to bring some, but also like, and this is going to sound so fucking out cold, bro, but like know your role, bro.
Yeah.
Like if you know goddamn well that you don't fuck with somebody on a certain level, don't ask
Because
certain
that's
shit.
when it gets free porny. That's when it gets like that, where it's like you don't we are so numb
Yeah.
to heartache and whatever, and we watch reality TV
Like
now and
I'm
we
just
do all this
laughing
stuff.
thinking about it because the audacity is in the air, bro. Like, do you even know my partner and my kid's name? Do you? Then no.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, well, and I think that that's why I've like a lot of people can't express that without being like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, but I can express it via words, via poem. And next time you need to tell someone, you pull out grief porn and you go, read
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that that's like, that's been something that I've been really, really, for a long time, I couldn't actually speak to the people that made me mad because I am very quick witted, sharp tongued, all the things.
Mhm.
You know, with a
Yeah.
quick wit for poetry comes a quick wit to fuck you up, you know,
Yeah.
at the same time. So, but I've been really deliberate. And so in my phone, like I have an entire thing that said things not to say to people who are grieving. Like I was just like, if someone would hit me with it, and I'd be like, hold please. Like, don't say that to
Yeah.
someone. Like, whoa. And I've even
Mhm.
caught myself where like if a star passes away, like on my phone, I immediately, oh, how? I want to read about it. We're really weird around grief, and it's something that should be in every you should have to go through something, a psychology class or something. Like we should have a life skills because like
That
you said,
now I was gonna speak on that
everyone.
because I was having a deja vu, but it wasn't a deja vu. I was talking to Allie and Amanda from Ohio. They came up and did a class with us, and we were all talking about because they lost their dad over the past year and a half, 2 years also. So we were talking about certain things, and I said with confidence, I don't think I've ever said anything out of pocket to somebody, but anytime that I have experienced something like so close to somebody and really cared to even present as a support, I had already been through all this different crisis training, literally taken classes and have a degree towards, like I literally have studied what not to say or
And
like how to just show up for someone. So like that's different. So it's like I cannot judge the people who don't know how to properly. All I can do is kindly set the boundary and hope that maybe it sends some type of social cue for them moving forward on how they approach those kinds of things. Oh, maybe next time I'll just give her a hug. Like she obviously don't want to talk to me about that. Maybe I
yeah,
should. And I'm kind. I'm just saying it to you like we're just joking around.
yeah,
But in reality, I've come a long way with that too.
yeah,
Literally used to be a drunk asshole.
yeah.
So
No, but I think it's
I
important.
approach things with kindness and I'm just like, and I just change the subject essentially.
Yeah, yeah,
Or I'll
same
just be
here.
like, I'm not even trying to get into that right now.
Well, and I
Straight
think that
up.
that's the good thing about being self-aware though as the person receiving because I think that for me, I know without a shadow of a doubt it's coming from a good place. Like
Mhm.
you being like, "Oh my God, what happened?" Like you really want to know whether it's curiosity and like it's lighthearted in your brain. But in my case, saying a lot of the people in my circle or whatever have never met someone who had overdosed. So it's a very different life that I'm, my bubble. No one was a 33-year-old widow. So it was a lot of things that people couldn't relate to. So I'm like, well, why do you want to talk about like you can't relate to me? And it took me a lot of self like discovery to realize people can relate to my feelings without relating to my situation. So now that I've opened up, people come to me about their grief in a lot of different ways, and their grief is nothing like mine. You were not in another country when that person died. You were, you know what I mean? You did not have an 11-month-old with that person. These things, even other widows, I have such a different life story from. But the thing is, loss is loss is loss. Pain is pain is pain. And I
Mhm.
think that and that was a big thing for a long time. People didn't want to tell me their problems because they're like, but you're going through something so much worse. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but your pain is relative to you. Pain is pain
Yeah.
is pain. And I think that that's like, I'm so happy that I have opened up because I think a lot of people usually don't have space to talk about their pain. And I'm in a healed enough place now that if people come to me and trauma dump, I'm like, I know where to put that. But
Yeah.
also, it helps me remember pain is pain is pain. That
Mhm.
person is going through pain. If I've been through that pain and they want to talk to me about it, okay, you know,
Yeah.
um, and I receive that, and I'm okay. But I think that it's like it can be a lot, because I know that when I'm sure that other people have come to you and been like, well, my this person just died, and then my this person just died, and they
Dude,
want to talk to you
dude.
when you're a raw nerve and it's like, but the thing is, it's because we don't have a structure or a safe place.
The book. The book. And there's certain things I want to say right now, but then I'm like, I don't know, because certain
Yeah,
people might watch this, and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. No, no, no. But I
like
get it. I've already
the
said all of it in the.
comparison shit.
And so in that, I actually started and have not come back to um a series on my TikTok about things not to say, like to people who are grieving. And one of the first ones was about my daughter. Like they constantly were like, but you have your daughter, as if my daughter cooks me breakfast. She was 11 months old. Like, you know what I mean? Like the comparison.
Right.
And I think it's because obviously no one knows what to say. Like no one knows what to say when you lose mom, dad, brother, sister. No one, because it's like even if they understand losing a spouse or a sibling or a parent, they don't understand losing yours. So
Mhm.
they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But we don't let that be okay. Like I've come to be able to say, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. This sucks.
Yes. I say that all
No.
the time. It's
Like
my
yeah,
go-to.
it's because it does. And I
Yeah.
don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And I think that in so many ways, like there's this experiment. My college friends will tell you that I took this to the extreme. But there was this experiment that I did in my psychology class where you would someone would tell you something and we would wait 5 seconds to respond. And Americans in particular will fill the space.
Yep.
We have to keep talking. Like, I can't just be like, wow, it's a beautiful day. And I'll be like, and I had this face like, and they would just keep talking and keep talking. Well, the day is beautiful because of this. And then it's this and this. And they would just keep talking because Americans aren't really good at uncomfortable.
Right.
In Sweden, I could sit with a friend in a room for an hour and not speak, and they'll be chill as hell. Like,
Hmm.
it's okay. Like, their culture it's not all talking and fluff and all this, like,
Right.
niceties. And if they're going to reach past you in a grocery store, they're going to reach past you, and it's not a threat on your life. Like, we are so, like, have so many of these, like, societal rules about what to say, not to say, and everything. And so I think it really comes down to that when things happen. It's like, I've got to say something. Or
Yeah.
their ego says, I'm going to be the one to make them feel better. It's
Yeah.
like, no, bro, like this is actually just going to suck. And so if
Yeah.
you truly love me, if you truly sit with me and suck, let it suck next to me. Like just be next
And
to me.
there's power in sitting in silence.
So much power.
You build trust in sitting in silence. That's another thing you learn on the crisis line.
Mhm.
And I think another thing we always feel the need to do, and it came up for me in this conversation. I'm going to be raw about this right now. When I mentioned where I come from and how many overdoses I've been exposed to, and then I thought about it for a second and I was like, damn, was that insensitive as fuck? Like, considering her situation, should you apologize for that? And then I was like, no, dude, she would rather, like, that's my real experience. Like, my childhood best friend died of a heroin overdose. I have her name tatted on my ass. Like,
It's
I,
necessary to
well,
talk.
I'm not, why would I hide what my life has been just because you've experienced death of an overdose of your husband? Like, why would I lie about that?
But not just that, but like it's so crazy that you even bring this up because the comfort I felt when you said that
That's
was
what I was thinking. I'm like,
I
she
felt
probably
seen.
feels like I can keep it 100 more, like, and I don't have
Yeah,
to tiptoe around her fucking thoughts and feelings
thank
and shit.
you. Because like if you have not dealt with addiction and drugs and alcohol and everything like that, because I had no idea about this world before I was thrust into a middle of my husband's relapse. My
I've
parents
been
didn't,
in this motherfucker.
you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
But like I was raised in a bubble. Like
Yeah.
now I think that. But like so you say and you keeping it real allowed me to feel more comfortable about talking about it and like
Yeah.
but that's the craziest part about I guess even talking with friends. Like you and I, this is the longest you and I have ever gotten to talk to each other. And I've learned so much about you, but we don't do this kind of shit enough. You know what I mean? We don't sit down and talk really about
Yeah.
what hard things, accomplishments. These are things I want to know about you. These
Dude.
are things that I
And
want to know
these are
about
things
all
you
the
know
people
you're growing when these are the types of conversations you want to sit in a room and have. I don't want to sit here and be fake with you and act like,
because we could act a
put on
fool.
that fake
You and I,
face.
we could act a fool.
No,
We could have
I
been on
mean,
here.
like, yeah, us.
We could
But
have
I'm talking
been on
like,
here
I'm
for a
not
while.
trying to sit with somebody who's like, yeah, we should go out and I'll get a drink because you don't drink, but you can get tacos or something and we can what? Talk about all your kids and like I don't give a fuck about them.
It's just, yeah. I think I'm over the deepest puddle relationships in my life. But also I think that it's hard for me sometimes to be around people who've never been through things as well. Like when you can tell. But at the same time, at my age and our age, like there's very few people in my life now that gravitate towards me or that I've gravitated towards who aren't real. Because I don't have I literally don't have the hours in the day for anything else. Or the energy for small talk or small minds or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that bit of energy that I could use for that, I'm giving to my kid. You know, I'm giving back to myself or my community, even if it's virtual.
Yeah.
You know? Oh my God. Okay, so last thing before I have to go pick up my child, I need to know what your favorite quote is. And if it comes from that book, I'm going to scream. I'm just kidding.
It's not. Okay. And since we already cracked the door open that you gave me these in advance, I don't have to act like, oh, like I'm just suddenly thinking of it. Because I actually had to sit with this for a minute. I've had I don't feel like I've ever had like a certain thing that was like so deep and like fucking Edgar Allan Poe or some shit that like, you know, whatever. And then I thought about it for a second and I'm like, well, what's something that you've just like always vibed with, that you've like repeated, like even if it was like something like, and I really thought about it. And are you a Mac Miller fan at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the song Frick Park Market, he says, don't call me Malcolm if you didn't fucking know me then. And that shit, bro, like I used to like, that was like my bio at one point.
You can't see me, but I just stood up and danced. Like, sorry.
Yeah. So I get for those who don't know, and I know you feel this because you have aliases and whatnot, but government name is Jessica Leigh Turner. So I don't go by Jessica. Ever since I was a kid, I played basketball. There was like 5,000 Jessica, my generation. Come on, bro. There was like 57,000 of them just in the AAU teams that I played for. It was just so my team called me Jay, and then that just like stuck. And people think it's cute and funny, and I don't let it like really bother me. But like when somebody who isn't my family related to me or whatever, unless I, for some reason, like Ashley, for some reason, she just, when we started dating, she just always called me Jessica, and I let that slide, and that works for us. Mm-hmm. But like, it bothers me if you think that you can refer to me as that. Like people joke around and shit about it, but it actually, if you really get stuck calling me that and you think that you can call me that, that's a no for me, dog. Mm-hmm. And so that part of that song, I used to have it in my thing. It was like, don't call me Jessica if you didn't fucking know me then. And I had that. But then when I really think about it, because I really thought on that, I'm like, why does that stick out to me so hard? Because it's not just about that being the name that I was given at birth. It's a nice name. It's great. My mother gave it to me. I love her. She's dead now. Great homage to my mom. She fucking gave me that name.
Yeah.
But also, I'm Jay. I love going by Jay. And I think that it comes with, like, you don't know me. Like, and it goes with so many things of like letting ourselves change, letting ourselves be different, allowing ourselves to come in and introduce ourselves wherever we're at in this season of whatever. And this is who we are right now. You might meet me 6 months from now and I'm totally different. So don't call me X if you didn't fucking know me then. Because you didn't, and you don't.
It's almost claiming a part of your story. It's almost claiming like you were there for me. It's almost claiming like those things. And like, yeah, I have a lot of names. I have a lot of different things people have called me over the years. And it's so weird that Sammy's the one that stuck, because that's one that I don't identify with at all. And I literally changed my name on my Facebook because like these Haitian men were like, hey, Sam. And I was like, oh, new Facebook. You know, that's literally how Sammy B came about. And I have people like write me checks to Sammy B and shit. I'm like, it's not my name. Like, really?
I love it. And I was like jaw drop when you actually said your whole last name on it.
My name is Samantha Brand. Yeah.
Yes. And I didn't know. But also nobody would know. You know what's funny is that at one point someone in the squad said, at one point somebody in the squad was like, Jay has a last name.
No, that's the other thing.
I love that.
It was when, oh my God, I was on a live on YouTube, and my YouTube name is apparently Samantha. And Tansy called me out and was like, oh, it's Samantha. And she didn't even know that it was the same person. She just thought someone named Samantha. And I was like, bro, like, don't.
Just ignore it. Or just don't answer. Like,
yeah, just don't. But yeah, no, I love that, because I think that it also is an homage to like what you said. I'm allowed to change. I'm allowed to evolve.
Yeah.
And like, you can't claim like you, if you weren't there, you weren't there. Like,
Yeah.
just,
Right. Yeah. Like if you didn't come out the same vagina with me, basically, don't fucking call me Jessica, bro.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if you're not eating it. You know what I'm saying? Because apparently I'm letting that slide.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please subscribe, like, download, do all the podcasty things. And I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit from my friend Jay. You can find her at Jaye Leigh Official on Instagram. And please get into all the things that she's doing. I am so incredibly proud of her. And I cannot wait to just continue to watch her blossom. So that's pretty much it for today. So go tell someone they're awesome. Bye.